Hey, it's Yuka, and today we're talking about spring cleaning your Mac. There are some macOS tips and some of my favorite apps that I use on a daily basis to get my Mac organized that might be helpful for your Mac as well. Starting off with macOS itself. First, let's talk about widgets. Starting with macOS Sonoma, you can now add widgets to your desktop. Right-click on the desktop and select Edit Widgets. Widgets can be added from not only your Mac apps, but from apps on your iPhone that are using the same Apple ID. You can move your widgets around like this. It's in like a grid system. So you can have your favorite widgets like so. And if you have any other apps open in the front, the widgets turn into a monochrome color. But you can click on the desktop again to show the widgets in full color. I usually use a studio display as a second monitor, so I arrange my windows to be visible there. Did you know you can change the accent color of your Mac? Go to Settings, Appearance, and this changes the color of Finder icons and buttons. There's a built-in dictionary app on Mac which I found surprisingly useful, and I always have it open. You can add languages from settings. It also includes Wikipedia, so I use this app instead of opening a browser to quickly check or research something. Related to the dictionary, you can actually look things up simply by highlighting them in the browser and searching in the dictionary. There's a feature that creates summaries for you with a right click when you highlight a text. Go to System Settings, Keyboard, Shortcuts, Service, Text, Summarize, and you can turn this feature on. You can even adjust the length of the summary. Have you heard of the Spaces feature? It's useful when you have too many windows open or when you want to separate them by project or between work and personal projects. You can create spaces from the Spaces bar that appears at the top of Mission Control. In Mission Control, you can move apps to different spaces that you want to use them in. This is especially useful when you're using a smaller screen like I am here with just a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, and you want more real estate to have all your apps open. With a Magic Mouse or Magic Trackpad, you can swipe with 3 fingers to move between them. Hot corners might be one of the underrated features, but they're actually very convenient. You can set actions to quickly start when the pointer is moved to a corner of the screen. You can set this up from System Settings, Desktop, and Dock. While there are only a limited number of functions to choose from, one particularly useful function for me is instantly putting your Mac to sleep, which I have set for the top left corner of my Mac. You can quickly turn off just the screen without shutting your Mac or going to the Apple menu. If you're at the office or if you're at a coffee shop and you quickly want to turn your screen off, it's really easy. You can also set it for quick notes or mission control, etc. This section is all about security. You're managing your passwords with a software, right? And not using post-it notes or your memory, because that is not good. Managing through iCloud is easy and convenient, but it's also confined in the Apple ecosystem and has limited functionality. I've been using 1Password for almost a decade now. With 1Password, you can generate, save, and autofill secure random passwords, and you can also save files such as text and PDFs. For example, I have PDFs containing personal information like insurance cards and scanned passports in my 1Password. We have a family plan, so we divide things that my husband and I share and things that are just for me. Everything is securely synced, so it's incredibly convenient to use not only on Mac, but also on iPhone, iPad, and even on Vision Pro. Moving on to screenshots and Clipboard. Have you ever ended up with a bunch of unnecessary screenshots on your desktop when you just wanted to send something on Slack? There's a shortcut to just copy to Clipboard, which is Command-Shift-Control-4. This is a really important shortcut to know, but it's also really long to remember, and you end up doing a little bit of a finger gymnastics on your keyboard when you're trying to do this. So another thing with the MX Masters 3 is if you have a frequently used shortcut, you can directly assign it to a button on the mouse. So I have it assigned to this middle button here. So with just a click of a button on my mouse, I can enter this mode where I can just copy this screenshot to my clipboard and not worry about everything cluttering on my desktop. For more complex screenshots and screen recording needs, I use an app called CleanShot X. It's handy because you can specify exact pixel dimensions, keep screenshots floating on the screen while working, annotate them, and finally drag and drop to share or save. Another app I use to make my clipboard more useful is Paste. Normally, if you copy something and then copy something else, the first item is gone. But with Paste, your entire copy history is saved and shared via iCloud, so you can access it on any other Apple devices. It saves not just text, but also files like images. It's also great for saving frequently used items like links to social media or hex codes for brand colors, which you tend to copy and paste all the time. It can be saved on Paste, so you can directly copy and paste from there anywhere. By the way, both CleanShot and Paste are paid apps, but I use a subscription service called Setup. It lets you try out various apps, and using about 3 paid apps make it worth the cost, so I highly recommend. Moving on to docks. Did you know you can hide the dock and move it left or right, turn zoom on or off? Especially when working on a smaller screen like on a MacBook, keeping the dock visible can occupy valuable workspace. You can set the dock to hide and only appear when you hover over it. Personally, I find it more convenient and less prone to accidental triggers to place a dock on either side of the screen rather than at the bottom. Safari Web App is a feature available from macOS Sonoma where you can use a Safari page as a web app. For frequently used pages, having them in a separate window like another app can be more convenient than moving around within the browser to find your page. To make your own, go to File, Add Dock, or click the Share button on Safari's toolbar and select Add to Dock. And finally, for storage. For those struggling with storage being full all the time, I highly recommend checking out Daisy Disk. It's a paid app, but you buy it once and get lifetime license. It visually shows where and how large files are on your disk, making it easier to prioritize and delete large unnecessary files. So that's it. Let me know if you learned something new from this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more tech and creativity videos. Bye!